Yeah, does it everything dark to you guys? I don't know why. Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Richard Allen! You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you? Huh?
Yo! It's like the dogs are hanging out on top of a bed or something over there. Those two never leave each other's side. They're like attached. Crazy, those two guys. But we're still trying to get them to not pee. They just sort of pee on their little mats in there. But anyways. Uh-oh, what's going on here? What's that? Why am I multiplying? Well, maybe. That's why I guess. It's this one that I gotta use. That's that other screen that had the trial where it had multiple windows open. Alright, there we go. Yeah, this one's pretty crazy. It's we're just gonna start building the, like a tree, okay? Because it's pretty wild. And so, we're just gonna try to put it all together. A lot of different murders and, different members of the cult, some faking their deaths and doing all this. It's crazy stuff, so we'll see if we stumble upon all of the different pieces of information. I don't need people to send stuff like, hey, great, check it out, right during the show. Just let me get through what I got, and then when I'm all done, then we can go, and if there's any other stuff that's missed, we can add that in. All right, awesome. Also, during the show, if you guys could please help support the channel. We've had a pretty slow start of the month here. Really far behind where we normally are at a point like this. So if you guys can help support the channel, send in the coffees or the super chats or whatever the hell it is that you can do, I would appreciate it. All right. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to start with these, some articles from not too long ago. All right. So here we go. Hey, thanks, Katie Lucas. Very cool, very kind. Thank you very much. Wow, looks like you got some butterflies flying around in your face. Really small ones, of course. A string of recent killings across the United States have been tied to a fringe online group described as a death cult. The complex web of violence includes a samurai sword attack in Vallejo, the stabbing of a landlord, and a deadly shootout near the Canadian border. In 2022, Vallejo landlord Curtis Lind was allegedly attacked by a group of young tenants. I guess that's in California. Young tenants who lived in box trucks on the property. One of the alleged assailants reportedly stabbed Lind through the chest with a samurai sword during the attack, and then Lind shot two of the alleged assailants, leaving Emma Borhanian, 31, dead. Lind survived the attack but lost an eye. I mean, they actually used a sword and then stabbed him in the chest and the eye. Lind, now is 82, was stabbed to death on the same property weeks before he could testify. Okay, I didn't realize that he was attacked twice. So I was trying to figure out why he died, just glancing at articles. But look at that right there. So he was attacked by a samurai sword, and then he, through the eye, and he's like in the hospital, just absolutely, I mean, I'll show you a picture. It's ridiculous. It's this story should be bigger. This is nuts, Yeah, so look at that. This is poor Mr. Lind in the hospital after he was attacked by the samurai. Look at all the cuts he's got on him. The sword, he was stabbed in the chest and the eye, and then he gets killed later. The freaks are learning about some real freaks. That's right. That's right. Because it says right here, on January 17th, Lind, now 82, was stabbed to death on the same property weeks before he could testify in the case. So some of the cult members killed him. Oxford-educated data scientist Maximilian Snyder, 22, was charged on Tuesday with Lind's murder. And he's actually one of the cult members. So let's see, I got the Maximilian Snyder is this person. Yeah, they look a little different too in other photographs that are out there. But that is them. It's really strange though, because they also have a person named Teresa Youngblood, and they show the same picture, but I don't think that's, I think Teresa Youngblood is this person right here. Okay, but we're going to have to put this all on a map, a chart. It's that person and this person. Okay, that's the same person, just different color hair, and apparently has a surgical mask on. Unreal, huh? Alright, so let's see. We've already got that. So we know that Maximilian... I guess what we could do right now, let's add that onto the chart. So we'll put Maximilian on here. Put the name down here, Maximilian. Maximilian. I think there's just one right there. And then we'll put the picture of this guy right here. Now we know that he was also attacked and he killed. So basically what we could have is two different names on this guy. Ah, Jesus, this is getting... Come on. Okay, and he is... back. That was in here. Hold on, I gotta get his name. So his name is Curtis Lind. Jesus, this thing is just really struggling with this. Come on! Curtis Lind. Alright. And then it says that during the attack, Lind shot 2 of the alleged assailants, leaving Emma Borhanian, 31, dead. Alright, so we also have her. So what we'll do is we'll put that person in here. So this is Emma Borhanian. I mean, just what a weirdo. Look at that. So we can put her name right there. Emma, that's not working. Gotta go back up to there. Emma Borhanian. Right there. So obviously Emma attacked Curtis Lind at one point, but then Curtis killed it. I don't know what else you call him. So I guess we could do something like Maximilian. That needs to be bigger. Hey, thanks uniquely, Susie. And then you could say, then he attacked. Emma attacked and then he killed her. Alright, there you go. How's it going in there? Alright, guys. So, like I said before, if you guys can help support the channel, I would really appreciate it. We need to have some better nights coming up here to try to get somewhere. This month is we're about like a third of a normal month at this point. Are these men pretending to be women? It's almost transgenders. Yeah, I don't know. I think in this case, some of them are pretending to be women. I don't know. I think some are the other way around, though. True Crime Nuts trying for a wave. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard the news earlier, but Trump was saying that maybe the United States will take over the Gaza Strip. And I was like, hell, that makes sense. Jesus, you got this crazy, it's never going to get resolved over there. And so maybe you fix it up, they control it, people can live there, do whatever they want, but they'll be happy and learning and use, have the West Bank be the country. That place, as long as I don't know if you saw that, it was wild though. I was like, man, you never heard anybody think outside the box like that. It's wild. Yeah, so I think this is a mix here. All right, we've got that, and then let's move over to another article. So here's the guy that died. It is with deep heartache we announce the passing of Curtis Lind at the age of 82 on January 17, 2025. Curtis was viciously attacked in front of his property in Vallejo, California, resulting in his death. What we should do is look that guy up. So, been verified. I'm going to look up where he lives so we can see where this took place. Curtis Lind, 82, and he lives in Vallejo, California. All right. And there's only one there. I'm not sure if they've already caught up on him being deceased yet. Let's see. That's pretty recent. And no, they don't have that. But apparently he lived right here. Wow. So maybe like right there, I guess. Curtis Lind. There's also, he has got a couple other pieces of property like right on the same spot. So let's see if maybe there's a house right next to it, or yeah, let's see. So I guess he just kind of owns this whole little lot here. Maybe he just lives on it. Oh yeah, look at these little trailers. Yeah, and I think that's where these people lived. They mentioned living in the I bet you that's where the cult lived, right there. And as a matter of fact, I'm certain of it. Now that I remember reading something about that. Is that crazy? All right, let's go back to this right here. So as some of you may know, hey, thanks Tracy Harrison, Sass, and True Crime Nut. As some of you may know, Curtis was the victim of a previous unprovoked violent attack on November 13th, 2022. And thanks, Cindy, also. At the age of 80 by 3 young adults. So I guess he was attacked in November of 2022 at the age of 80 by 3 young adults on his Vallejo property. He miraculously survived being stabbed multiple times, had a sword impaled through his chest, and ultimately lost his right eye. A year after his unbelievable recovery, he was in a severe, I guess it was a car accident that cracked multiple ribs and left him with other injuries. Against all odds, Curtis once again, defied all expectations and recovered. That's insane. His constant resilience and determination to live his life to the fullest was second to none. He was a man who, no matter how many times he was knocked down, always got back up and continued to try and see the positive in life. Kurt, as he was known by his family and friends, was a father of 2 loving children. I just want to make sure, like, where. So anyway, he got killed. Then they went and killed him again because he was going to testify. I mean, how crazy. After he survived 2 horrendous events. Thank you, Dirt in My Eye. His murder was a senseless act. He was a senior citizen trying to live his life to the best of his abilities, despite how much he was going through physically and mentally after being attacked 2 years ago. After surviving such a violent and traumatic event, Curtis's medical expenses exceeded expectations. So this is prior, I think, to him. No, it says remembering Curtis Lind. So I don't know. Is this when he's still alive though, or? So look at him right there. There's the, after he was hit in the head with the, stabbed in the eye. So let's see, I'm just going to take a look at this one really quick. A man was stabbed to death in Vallejo Friday, marking the city's first homicide of the year. Police said officers responded to a call about the stabbing near Lemon and 3rd Street at around 2:20 p.m. There they located the victim with at least 1 stab wound. He was taken to the local hospital for injuries, but he died at the hospital. Police are investigating and are looking into the motive and circumstances. The victim's identity is being withheld pending next of kin notification. Let's see what this one says. It says the Vallejo Police Department prioritizes public safety for all residents regardless of immigration status. I'm not sure what the hell that is. I guess what we're doing is it's somewhere on this page and I'm not going to go try to find it. I just randomly saw these, so I thought I would look at them. See, look at. It must have been him when he was younger. All right. All right, so then we're going to go here. This is from. This one says January 31st. Let me change the date on that. Just put them in order. That one looks like it. I had it down for the 25th, but it's actually the 31st. All right, so let's go to this one. Okay. Killing of Delaware County, PA couple linked to shooting death of Border Patrol agent in Vermont. A Washington State woman charged in connection with the fatal shooting of a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont had been in frequent contact with someone whom authorities have linked to homicides in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and California, a federal prosecutor said in court documents. Teresa Youngblood, 21, faces 2 weapons charges in connection with the death of Border Patrol agent David Mallon, 44, who died January 20th during the shootout in Coventry, a small town about 20 miles from the Canadian border. And so that's the Border Patrol agent that was killed. So I guess what we can do now is take this out and put in let's see, the cult members. This is Youngblood, so I'm going to use this one. And put the name in there. Youngblood. Sounds like is that an Indian name? Okay, and then we can put the Border Patrol agent in there. There we go. Uh-oh, it's gonna
In a motion.
All right, let's take this guy. Border Patrol agent. I just want to, once we get this together, we'll just have it. The heck? That's tiny. I don't know why it's doing that. No idea. Guess we'll have to figure that out later. Alright, back to this. A Washington State woman charged in connection with a fatal shooting of U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont has been in frequent contact with a different person. Teresa Youngblood, 21, faces 2 weapon charges in connection with the death of Border Patrol agent David Mallon, 44, who died January 20th during the shootout in Coventry, a small town about 20 miles from the Canadian border. She had been traveling with Felix Buchholz, a German citizen, who also was killed, and the pair had been under surveillance for several days. So apparently this person killed this idiot right here. Okay, so that's Felix Buchholz. And the Border Patrol agent says Felix Ophelia. And then Bauckholt. And then, so she was in a shootout with the Border Patrol agent who ended up dying later. I made a different picture of him. David Malland. Okay, so there's David Malin, and I think it was Teresa Youngblood, and then he killed her, and then that person was also attacked. So we got Emma Borhanian's been killed, Felix Ophelia Buckholt has been killed, but they killed a Border Patrol agent. Is this making sense a little bit? Man, how come nobody's interested in this stuff? I mean, we have 145 people watching. It's just amazing. I don't know what to do. But I still need your guys' support on the channel tonight. I mean, currently we're at $15, so if we can get much higher than that, I'd be appreciative. We need to, even with the earlier show, we're not even at a third of what used to be a normal night just 2 weeks ago. So if you guys have the ability to, I would appreciate it. It's hard. The victim of that double homicide. Okay, so according to the motion, the gun used by Youngblood and the one that Buckholt was carrying were purchased by a third person in Vermont last February. The buyer is a person of interest in a double homicide investigation in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, Drescher said. And that is this. There's another couple right here. Hold on. Let me grab that. And here we go. And here's the other couple. And forgot to put that. The Border Patrol is David Malin. Okay, then we've got this couple's name is Richard and Rita. And Rita Z, I think it's Zajko, like that. All right. Both Youngblood and the gun buyer are acquainted with and have been in frequent contact with someone who was detained during that investigation and who was also a person of interest in a homicide investigation in Vallejo, California. The defendant's possession and use of a firearm combined with the itinerary and association suggests she poses a current and substantial danger to the community that could not be addressed by a condition or a combination of conditions of pretrial release, the prosecutor wrote. Youngblood made an initial appearance in a federal court in Burlington on Monday and was scheduled for a detention hearing on Thursday. The public defender assigned to represent Youngblood in U.S. District Court in Burlington did not return emails seeking a comment. According to an FBI affidavit, a border agent pulled over Youngblood and Buckholt on Interstate 91 to conduct an immigration inspection. At the time, Buchholz appeared to have an expired visa, according to a Department of Homeland Security. That's the German individual. Database. But investigators have confirmed that his visa was current, the FBI said. Youngblood, who had been driving Buchholz's car, got out and opened fire on Malin. That's got to be body camera footage of that somewhere. And other officers without warning, the FBI alleges. Buchholz tried to draw a gun, but was shot, the affidavit states. At least one border agent fired on Youngblood and Buchholz, but authorities haven't specified whose bullet hit whom. This investigation remains very active, and the legal process continues, FBI spokeswoman Sarah Ruane said in a statement over the weekend. Investigators had been performing a periodic surveillance of Youngblood and Buchholz since January 14th after an employee at a hotel where they were staying reported concerns after seeing Youngblood carry... Yeah, see, this is interesting right here. So investigators have been performing periodic surveillance of Youngblood and Buchholz since January 14th after an employee at a hotel where they were staying reported concerns about seeing Youngblood carrying a gun and she and Buchholz wearing black tactical gear, according to the affidavit. Investigators tried to question the duo, who said they were in the area looking to buy property, but declined to have an extended conversation, the FBI said. During search of the car after the shootout, authorities found cell phones wrapped in foil, a ballistic helmet, night vision goggles, respirators, and ammunition, the FBI said. They also found a package of shooting range targets, including some that had been used, two-way radios, about a dozen electronic devices, travel and lodging information for multiple states, and an apparent journal. So maybe they were keeping track of what they were doing. Yeah, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela, for the coffee earlier. But we are currently at $21 so far. Our normal nightly goal prior to whatever this month was used to be $250, and then it became $200, and right now we're at $21 for this show. All right, just to give you some feedback of where we're at. So if you have the ability to get anywhere, to a point where, I'd like to still be able to give at the end of the month, but it's not looking good. Let's see. In May, Youngblood's parents reported to Seattle police that she was missing. That's crazy, all that gear that they had. Parents reported to Seattle police that she was missing, according to a police report. In the account, first reported by the Seattle Times, they said she had left home with the duffel bags full of personal belongings, including her passport and medical records. The parents said her behavior had changed and that she had been lying about where she was going and who she was seeing. They said she also had broken off contact with friends and changed her phone number, the parents said. They were concerned she was being forced to take the actions or that she may be in a controlling relationship. Right. Katie, we're just going over what I got. So, the parents said her behavior had changed. Again, it says Teresa Youngblood took out a marriage license to a man who was not Buchholz in November, according to a search of records. A man reached at a phone listing for Youngblood's family Friday, identified himself as Youngblood's grandfather, and declined to comment. No one answered the door or homes in Seattle and Redmond, Washington associated with Youngblood's name, and neighbors declined to comment. Buchholz graduated with an honors degree in mathematics from Waterloo University in Canada in 2018. You got to be pretty smart to get that. He competed and won honors in computer programming competitions and held an office in the University Computer Science Club. He had received a scholarship and was one of several students who had won medals in international Olympiads. But why do you keep saying he? You know, I mean, for either mathematics or informatics, according to the school news release from 2015. A now deleted LinkedIn profile for Felix Buchholz said he had been working as a quantitative trader for a financial firm based in New York since October 2021. An email was sent to the firm seeking confirmation. Yeah, that's the 29th. Is it? I think we just did. Okay, I think this is the next one. This is in the SF Gate. So that looks like that same property, right? Like all these. So this was on the. Curtis Lynn was killed near the property on 3rd Street in Vallejo, California on January 17th, 2025. I mean, that's exactly, I think that's what that looks like. And that's Lemon Street. Is this 3rd over here then? I don't know. Let me go to right there. Oh, we can go right to here. Jeez. Yeah, it's the same place. See, look at that. Same everything. Like, it's almost like they use the same street view that I used. Okay, so it's right there. And I think that these little, like, people were living in some of these things over here. I think. In 2022, Vallejo landlord Curtis Lynn was allegedly attacked. So landlord, right? Okay, let's just go start up here again. A string of recent killings across the United States have been tied to a fringe online group described as a death cult. The complex web of violence includes a samurai sword attack in Vallejo, the stabbing of a landlord, and a deadly shootout near the Canadian border. Well, there's actually 2 other people as well. It says, in 2022, Vallejo landlord Curtis Lynn was allegedly attacked by a group of young tenants who lived in box trucks on his property. See? Isn't that crazy? So when was this street view here? This is August 2022. And this took place in 2022. So these guys, and it was after that, right? So this says in 2022, but if I remember correctly, it was like, let's see, hold on. This is Lynn right here. Yeah, November 13th, 2022. Okay, so look at this. This street view is August. That means it's 3 months before. So they're likely living in this photograph right here, this 300, this 3D version of Google Earth, or at least that street view was. So let's see what happens if we go to, I'm going to go to, there's May, August, okay, it's 2023. So this is July 2022. So they lived in one of these trailers over here at that time. And then street view, if you go all the way to the end, here, inside, they're probably living in those right there. Hold on. All right. It says, in 2022, Vallejo landlord Lynn was allegedly attacked by a group of young tenants who lived in box trucks on his property. One of the alleged assailants reportedly stabbed Lynn through the chest with a samurai sword. During the attack, Lynn shot 2 of the alleged assailants, leaving Emma Borhanian, 31, dead. Lynn survived the attack, but lost an eye. On January 17th, Lynn, now 82, was stabbed to death on the same property weeks before he could testify in the case. Oxford-educated data scientist Maximilian Snyder, 22, was charged on Tuesday with Lynn's murder. Well, thanks, Zozo. Riding the wave. Jump on the board, freaks. Well, Zozo's trying to get some help here. It seems like when I say it these days, people just go, yeah, Gray, yeah. I am just telling you, it's really important, but, whatever. But Zozo is trying for a wave, so will you guys please help support Zozo's wave and thus the channel? I would appreciate it. Let's see. Kurt had a deep love of the ocean and lived many years on boats and ships. 3,000 miles away in Burlington, Vermont, a 21-year-old data scientist named Teresa Youngblood had been charged in connection with the killing of Border Patrol agent in a shootout following a traffic stop 12 miles from the Canadian border. On January 20th, multiple Border Patrol agents pulled over a blue Toyota Prius belonging to German citizen Felix Buchholz, who was a passenger in the car driven by Youngblood. A criminal complaint seen by SF Gate alleges. Thank you, Georgina Stoliker. Youngblood allegedly pulled a gun on the agents, and the resulting shootout left Buchholz and Agent David Malin, 44, dead and Youngblood injured. Youngblood and Buchholz had been under surveillance by authorities in Vermont after they were seen walking around 2 towns in all-black tactical-style clothing carrying firearms. They had also been seen wrapping cell phones and other items in aluminum foil bought in a Walmart. See what I'm saying? There we go. It's right there. We would have come to it later. The complaint states, there now appears to be a link between the 2 tragedies that occurred 3 days apart. So that would mean that couple that was killed. Let's see, their names are... Is Rita listed in here? Okay, what are they referring to 2 days apart? Came from a person connected in Vallejo homicide. Agents in Vermont. On Monday, a prosecutor in Vermont alleged in court filing that a weapon supplied to Youngblood and Buchholz came from a person connected to the Vallejo homicide investigation and another unspecified double homicide. There you go, in Pennsylvania. That's the other one. Youngblood and Snyder also applied for a marriage license in Washington State in November, according to an open Vallejo investigation. Many of the people linked to the violence are connected to a fringe online community known as the Zizians. It's just, nanu. I mean, this is ridiculous. The investigations found the group is a radical offshoot of the rationalism movement. Rationalism, give me a break. Focusing on matters such as veganism and artificial intelligence destroying humanity. Right. But you've kind of already shown that you're not rational, right? I mean, the group is apparently named after a person known Ziz, whom Open Vallejo identified as a former tenant on Lynn's Vallejo property. Hey, Plato. Zozo's Wave, hope to get back. Hey, I'm glad you guys met. Sounds like it was cool meeting each other. I always think like that too, like it's pretty crazy when you meet somebody out there and you're friends with them from, a place like, my channel, for example, and you meet them. It's kind of cool. it's like, man, I wish I could. You almost want to spend more time with them, but you know, you don't live in the same place. Especially with like Zozo, who lives like 1,000, 3,000, 6,000 miles away, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it's a really cool. You're kind of sad too, because it's like, God, they could be like one of my best friends if we were here, and then but you're not there, so then you take off. It sucks. Anyways, hey, thanks, Moofies. So anyways, many of the people linked to the violence are connected to a fringe online community known as Zizians. The investigation found the group is a radical offshoot of the rationalism movement, focusing on matters such as veganism and artificial intelligence destroying humanity. The group is apparently named after a person known as Ziz, whom Open Vallejo identified as a former tenant of Lynn's Vallejo property. So he was one of those people that lived in one of those trucks. A 2023 post on rationalism forum, lesswrong.com, warned of coming violence in the Zizian community. Over the past few years, Ziz has repeatedly called for the deaths of many different classes of people. Well, why isn't this person being sort of removed from being able to do this kind of stuff? The anonymous post read, Jessica Taylor, isn't that a name of one of the victims of Rex Heuermann? A friend of Buckholt told Open Vallejo she warned Buckholt about the Zizians, describing the group on X as a death cult. So Jessica Taylor, a friend of Buckholt, told Open Vallejo she warned Buckholt. And Buckholt's not alive currently. Snyder is currently being held in Solona, California, jail without bail. Do I have Snyder on there? No. Okay, so Snyder, hold on, let's do the Snyder. Youngblood and Snyder also applied for a marriage. Okay, yeah, so Snyder's a guy that I think is responsible for killing the elderly couple. And where's Snyder? So, weirdly, Maximilian... So it's strange, right? Because there's Maximilian that's the person's name, all right? So it's like, but they look just like this other person listed. So let's see, Maximilian Snyder, right there. And so it looks like Maximilian and, I think I left the word out, Youngblood over here. Those two were, I think, a couple. But then, interestingly, yeah, see, that's how they're all connected, because these two here attacked Curtis Lind, and he killed Emma in that attack, and then later somebody killed him before he was supposed to testify. That was probably Maximilian Snyder, and then he was going to marry her, I believe, and then that couple got killed, and then Buckholt, I guess we have to figure out who she was with when so it was Youngblood and Felix were together when David Malin was killed. I mean, how crazy. Jesus. You gotta be kidding me. That's just like a crazy... You need the chart, though. Many of the people linked to the violence are connected to a fringe online community. Yes, we already read that. Snyder is currently being held in Solano County Jail without bail and faces a charge of capital murder. He is due in court February 6th. Okay, I think that was that one. Yep. Okay, then the next one. Only got one coffee, you guys. Just one coffee and no channel members. So you got to get some new channel members and some coffees. Thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. It hasn't happened. Let's see. I guess it's a hope. Did we just read this one? No. Yeah, so here we go. This is the longer one. More bizarre details uncovered about a leader of alleged Bay Area death cult. Why are you rolling your eyes, Cindy? Yes, I'm in... A string of killings across America, including the stabbing death of landlord Vallejo, a deadly shootout in Vermont, and the massacre of a married couple in Pennsylvania, are seemingly connected by a fringe group led by an elusive leader in the Bay Area. In Vermont and California, 2 suspects appeared in court this week facing criminal charges. Oxford-educated data scientist Maximilian Snyder, 22, was charged in Solano County with the murder of Vallejo landlord Curtis Lind. Vermont 21-year-old data scientist Teresa Youngblood was charged in connection with the killing of Border Patrol agent in a shootout near the Canadian border. It has been revealed that Snyder and Youngblood recently applied for a marriage license. The connection, though, appears to run deeper than a marriage proposal. Hey, thanks. Mountain Man got me a coffee. Thank you. I mean, this, you gotta admit, like, this is this is right up there with Lori and Chad Daybell. It's crazy. It's ludicrous, right? Weird stuff. And there's 6 people that were killed, though, so I don't know where the other 2 are yet. Maybe we'll get to that later. A string, and maybe they're saying that 2 of the cult members were killed. So that's 6. In Vermont and California, 2 suspects appeared in court this week facing criminal charges. Oxford educated, we read that. It has now been revealed that Snyder and Youngblood recently applied for a marriage license. The connection, though, appears to run deeper than a marriage proposal. The couple has ties to a fringe online group named the Zizians. The namesake of a group, Ziz, has been accused of making death threats on forums promoting a radical form of rationalism which discusses the ethics of veganism, artificial intelligence, destroying humanity with artificial intelligence, and using scientific techniques to enhance human decision making. You know, for example, as in claiming you're a female and you're a male, right? I mean, it's called gender dysphoria. That's why they're, they used to have, try to treat people for that, but now it's just, I'm not sure what this person's talking about. You already seem sort of irrational yourself. A recent open Vallejo investigation identified Ziz as Jack Lasoto. Oh, so that's who that person is. Wow, okay. So let's that's this guy. That's this person right here. I guess we can put it way down here. The cult leader. Ziz. There we go. Let's see. The couple has ties to... Okay, Ziz has been accused of making death threats on forums promoting a radical form of rationalism, which discusses the... okay. A recent open Vallejo investigation identified Ziz as Jack Lasota, a former tenant at a property on 3rd Street in Vallejo. Look at that. Where a samurai sword attack in 2022 left tenants. So that was their cult, living in those box cars. Emma Borhanian, 31. So, it was where a samurai sword attack in 2022 left a tenant named Emma Borhanian, which is also part of the cult, 31 years old, dead, and landlord Curtis Lind without an eye. Lind was stabbed to death, unless, I don't know, maybe this Borhanian is not, I don't know, I think that person is part of their cult. Lind was stabbed to death at the property earlier this month before he could testify in the trial related to the 2022 attack. Jeez. In November 2019, Lasota Borhanian, Gwen Danielson, and Alexander Leatham went to Westminster Woods, a children's outdoor camp in Occidental, wearing Guy Fawkes-style masks. According to their attorney at the time, they were protesting the cover-up of child predators by one or more people. It is not clear who this refers to or if there are credible allegations of, child sexual, I don't want to, whenever you put those words in there now, they screw you up. Related to the location. During the protest, the 4 were arrested by deputies from the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office, and a result of those arrests, they later filed a lawsuit. Allegedly, they were tortured and sexually assaulted while in custody. All right. Well, you guys are currently at 3788. So if you guys are out there and you can please help support the channel, try to get us somewhere, I would appreciate it. Just hoping that you guys have the ability to help. It used to be where on the shows, people were supporting the channel. They knew what our mission was, what we were doing, and now it doesn't seem to be the case. Don't know. So let's see, where are we at here? On February 17th, 2023, the group attorney Gerald Friedman was granted a remarkable motion by the court. He had asked to withdraw from the case due to the fact that 3 of the 4 clients were identified, definitely or possibly deceased. Wow. During the protest, in November 2019, Lasota Borhanian, Gwen Danielson, and Alexander Leatham. Do I have that person? Yes, I have that person. So here is Alexander Leatham. I have that person. I don't know. In November 2019, Lasota Borhanian, Gwen Danielson, and Alexander Latham went to Westminster Woods, a children's outdoor camp in Occidental, wearing Guy Fawkes-style masks. According to their attorney at the time, they were protesting the cover-up. During the protest, the 4 were arrested by deputies from Sonoma County Sheriff's Office, and as a result of those arrests, they later filed a lawsuit alleging they were tortured and assaulted while in custody. And then on February 17th, the group's attorney, so when you're saying the groups, are you talking about the cult or the actual camp? Gerald Friedman was granted a remarkable motion by the court. He had asked to withdraw from the case due to the fact that 3 of the 4 clients were definitely or possibly deceased. First was Borhanian. Okay, so it must be the cult. First was Borhanian, who was killed during the alleged assault on Lynn in Vallejo. The second was Danielson. So who's that person? Friedman wrote that he had last heard from her on January 21st, 2022. 3 months later, he heard rumor that she may have been killed herself. Yeah, so I don't know who Danielson is. And then how could that person be killed January 21st? That's before Borhanian, because I remember that was in November of 2022. So I'm not sure why they have that out of order like that. But it should have been Danielson, then Borhanian. 3 months later, he heard rumor that she may have killed herself. On September 9th, is anybody, maybe somebody can look up that. Gwen Danielson. Gwen, then Danielson. See if something happened. Okay, first was Borhanian, who was killed during, the alleged, I don't know, that doesn't make sense. On September 9th, 2022, I received an email, apparently from a friend of Gwen Danielson, that asked if I can share anything about her rumored taking her life. He wrote, taken at face value, the email confirms that Gwen Danielson is missing from her friends. I have no information on whether Gwen Danielson is alive. I wonder if she was somebody that would have caved if police questioned, and and these cult members didn't believe she seemed strong enough, and then took her out. Because they killed Lind to keep him quiet, but maybe there was a cult member that they didn't feel like would die for the cult. They were just sort of, maybe something like that. All right. Finally, there was Lesotho. According to Friedman, he received a phone call in August 2022 from Lesotho's defense attorney. Oh, yeah, in a separate criminal case. The attorney told Friedman that Lesotho fell from a boat in San Francisco Bay and was likely dead. When Friedman reached out to Lesotho's mother, she also confirmed that Jack Lesotho died. Friedman obtained the U.S. Coast Guard report on Lesotho's apparent drowning, which was submitted in evidence to the court. According to the Coast Guard, Lesotho went overboard at approximately 11 p.m. on August 19, 2022. A map from the Coast Guard depicts Lesotho's last known location as precisely at the midpoint between Oakland Airport and the Candlestick Point. Despite hours of searching and calm seas, clear weather, and 60-degree night, no trace of Lesotho was found. An obituary posted at legacy.com appeared not long after stating that Lesotho left our lives. I think I have that. So I have that one and another one. Let's see, I guess we'll wait and see that. Jeez, I just lost it. Let's see. And then on August 19th, after boating and then loving adventure, friends, family, etc. Less than 3 months later, Friedman said he was forwarded an email from the Sonoma County District Attorney's Office. I just wanted to reach out to let you know that Jack Lesotho was contacted by police in Vallejo this weekend. It read, Lesotho was on scene alive and well. So he didn't die. He faked it. Soon, Lesotho would be confirmed alive by another police department. In early January 2023, Pennsylvania State Police Trooper descended on the Candlewood Suites in Chester City. In hand, they had a search warrant for a room being occupied by Michelle, Zajico, or... Oh, yeah. Wow, that's the daughter of... Isn't that the same last name? Hold on. Yeah, it's the same last name as Richard and Rita Zajko. So what's going on with this? Okay. Soon, Lesotho could be confirmed alive by another police department. In early January 2023, Pennsylvania State Police trooper descended on Candlewood Suites in Chester City. In hand, they had a search warrant for a room being occupied by Michelle, whose parents, Richard and Rita, had been shot and killed in their home on December 31st, 2022. One of the troopers testified in court that they believed the weapon in the killing, a 9mm Smith & Wesson, was in Jacko's possession. So is she also, or he, a transgender that was part of this cult and had her own parents killed? I mean, who is this person? This is crazy now. Is there an image of this person? Oh yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see, is this the... That's her right there. Is there him or him? I don't even know what that is. Well, we're going to have to add that one now. That's ridiculous. So now this is the daughter of that other couple killed, and he's with the cult leader. That's crazy. Just goes on and on and on. What the hell's going on here? That's crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to have to do my old school public service announcement. So if you guys look up here, what's been going on for 5 years over here is the freaks support the channel. And at the end of the month, I take my ad revenue and everything, all the income that I make, and I give away a lot of the money. And we've given away $230,000 since January of 2020. All those years were shitty years. Okay, we did, we gave $22,000 in 2020, $42,000 in 2021, $62,000 in 2022, $57,000 and $350 in 2023. $49,000 last year, and currently we're at $1,500 this year, and we're just, it's going completely backwards. And the thing is I need your guys' support to keep the channel going and to do the stuff that we've been doing for all these years. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it. I've tried my best to do the best shows that I can, to be accurate. I have my own personality. Some people like it, some people don't. But I need your guys' support to continue to keep doing this. Because right now, we can't do anything at the end of this next month, the way this is right now. This will be, the revenue currently as it stands this month would be about 1/8 of 2 months ago's channel revenue. We have a scholarship fund that we gave $6,000 this year to. We gave $6,000 last year to. We have a DNA fund that we've put $98,000 into. And it really just comes down to all of you guys continuing to support the channel nightly. And I do what I can to try to get videos out there to get viewed, but they don't, for some reason they don't get very many views. I've done 2 live streams today, and we're still at 1/4 of a goal. So how is that rational? How did it just in a week period or a 2-week period of time just go like this? I don't understand. Okay, so I'm trying my best to keep doing what I'm doing, And if you guys can please help support the channel, tonight and other nights, if you can, that'd be great. I don't know what else to do or to tell you guys, but this channel is one of the few channels that actually tried to make a difference with the income they brought in. And I obviously didn't save for a rainy day because I gave away $230,000. I just thought that we were just going to continue on and keep doing the same thing for years, but now it's been a big struggle. So please help support the channel. Thank you. Let's see. So that person's in there. The United States Attorney's Office, District of Vermont, has charged Youngblood with assault on a federal law enforcement officer. I don't understand this part here. Like, where did she come from? Whose parents? So during their search, the trooper said, indicated that she had a companion in another hotel room. Upon searching that room, the trooper testified that they found Lesotho, who was identified through fingerprints, and that's the leader of the cult, 17 months after Lesotho apparently died in San Francisco Bay. Lesotho was charged with obstruction of justice and disorderly conduct and released from custody. Yeah, I'm just honest, but you notice how when I say what I just said, it doesn't really have any effect on anybody at all? That's the part that's just so, I don't know what you call it. It's just, I don't know, really doesn't feel good. Let's see. Upon searching that room, the trooper testified that they found Lesotho, the head of the cult, was identified through fingerprints 17 months after Lesotho apparently died in San Francisco Bay. Lesotho was charged with obstruction of justice and disorderly conduct and released from custody. SF Gate could not independently confirm Danielson is dead. A spokesperson from the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office said Lesotho is still wanted on an outstanding warrant. See, that's crazy. Michelle Z must have something to do with the death of her parents then, if you're hanging out with the cult leader responsible for that. SF Gate could not independently confirm Danielson is dead. Zizianism has been described by some as a cult. An anonymous website titled Zizians.info claims that what started as a self-improvement blog from Ziz soon evolved into posts encouraging members to isolate themselves from friends and family and hurting people she didn't like. The post also claims that Ziz attempted and failed to live rent-free on a boat in San Francisco Bay, but became embittered by the dysfunction of the bay. Another lengthy anonymous 2023 post on Medium warned of future violence from Ziz and her followers. I thought Ziz was a guy. Some people in the rationalist community are concerned about risks of physical violence from Ziz and some of her associates, the warning began. Jessica Taylor, a friend of Felix Buchholz, who died in the Border Patrol shootout last week, told Open Vallejo that she warned Buchholz about the Zizians and described the group on X as a death cult. Why are you asking somebody how old somebody's kid is? Let's just, come on, you guys. Jack Lesotho was unreachable for the story. Lesotho's parents did not return a request to comment by publication time. I thought Ziz has, hold on. Shell Yeah, Lasoda. That's the person's name. Jack Lasoda. So that's a she, apparently. Curtis Lind, an 82-year-old landlord in Vallejo, California, was stabbed to death near his property on January 17th. Maximilian Snyder, a 22-year-old data scientist, was charged with Lind's murder on Tuesday. His death came after he was allegedly impaled with a samurai sword and blinded in one eye during an attack by a group of young tenants who lived in box trucks on his property. He had been called to testify against his alleged assailant in a trial in April, according to Open Vallejo, a non-profit news organization. 3 days after Lynn's killing, Border Patrol agent David Malland was shot dead during the traffic stop more than 3,000 miles away near the U.S.-Canadian border in Vermont. Teresa Youngblood, a 21-year-old computer science student, is facing federal firearm charges in Malland's death. Youngblood was in a Toyota Prius with German national Felix Buchholz when they were pulled over by Border Patrol agents on January 20th. Investigators surveilled them for almost a week after a hotel employee reported seeing them dressed in black tactical clothing and protecting equipment. I actually have video of that surveillance footage. Somewhere. So what the purpose of my public service announcement was hoping that people out there that have the ability to support the channel would actually do so. So thank you if you can. I would appreciate it. So this says on January 20th, 2025, U.S. Border Patrol agent David Malland was killed following a traffic stop on a Vermont highway. Nearly a week earlier, a concerned employee reported a couple wearing all black tactical clothing with the woman carrying a gun. They later moved to the Newport City Inn and Suite in Vermont. So nearly a week, let's see. Employee reported a couple wearing all black tactical clothing with the woman carrying a gun. They later moved to the Newport City Inn and Suite in Vermont. The following video footage from the hotel taken on January 15th shows Teresa Youngblood and Felix Buchholz extending their stay at the Newport Hotel. The FBI has named them as suspects in the shooting. Hey, thanks, Trisha. Hey, became a monthly coffee giver. All right. So okay, this is them right here. I think this is Snyder and no, it's Youngblood and I gotta tell you, it's hard to remember. Let me go back. It's not the. I don't think that was one that we were on. I don't know. I don't know where I was. This gets too many. I got that one, but where the hell was where I was just at? Was it this one? More bizarre details uncovered about a leader alleged Bay Area death cult. Hey, thanks, Oza. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's if I can't, say, hey, you guys, I need your support, and people support, then it just kind of feel bad if somebody else does, and I appreciate it though. Thanks, Teresa, for the coffee. I just don't know what happened or what I did. I'm just trying to do my shows and thanks, Sandy. Hey, appreciate it. Very kind, very kind. Coffees. I got some coffees coming in. All right. Man, there's dirt in my eye. Okay. You guys. A string of killings across. I'm trying to figure out what that. Okay, so it's Oxford-educated scientist Maximilian Snyder was charged in Salina County with the murder of Vallejo landlord Curtis Lynn in Vermont. It has now been revealed that Snyder and Youngblood recently applied for marriage. Okay, so that's what we got. So it's Snyder right here in the upper left, and Youngblood here in the pink hair. There's also a picture with a mask on and slick back hair. Those two are engaged, and I think those are the two that are in that. Yeah, so that's her right there. Also, so that's Teresa Youngblood with brown, dark hair, and the mask. Okay, so let's take a look at this video here. So that's Youngblood down here, and then Snyder's the tall person. Although when you look at Snyder, you don't think of him as a tall person. Well, thanks, Zozo. At least you were able to do it. When I do it, it doesn't do anything. So thank you. Appreciate it. You got Zozo, Dirt in My Eye, True Crime Nut, Ozzy Trisha, Uniquely Susie, Chicken Wing, Cindy J. So this right here is Youngblood. But look at it. You can see him right there. Clear as day. Just a really clear surveillance. Looks like it's 11:25 or 10:25. They would be pretty creepy. You would think that they were terrorists based on how they're dressed. Yeah, I've seen the articles. Actually, I don't know if I saw that one. Let's see, that one's from somebody sent me an article. I don't know what date that's from, but. And there they are, just, a loving couple. And that's where this is right here. Yep. See, what you were just looking at was right there. They were walking over here, so that's that's way up there. I mean, that's yeah, look at that. Right next to Canada there. There's the border. Canada's going to be part of the USA pretty soon, so I'm just kidding. That's a joke, everybody. It's a joke. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's really far away. It's almost as far away as you can get from where they started. Diagonally across the United States up in the corner. Is this the one that we were on? I think we were past that one. Like we already went through this one. That was on the 30th. Okay, let's just go to the 31st. Okay, Zizian namesake who faked death in 2022 is wanted in 2 states. So I guess he's still moving around out there, right? 34-year-old computer engineer who lived in Vallejo for years has apparent ties to people of interest in murder investigation in California and Pennsylvania, faked their own death in 2022 according to a review of police and court records by Open Vallejo. Lawyers and family members of Jack Amadeus Lasota, also known as Ziz, seem to believe that they died in August 2022 after falling from a boat in San Francisco Bay, according to court records. But Lasota's body was never recovered. Records show Lasota was detained by police at the scene of a stabbing in Vallejo 3 months after their alleged death. They were arrested in Pennsylvania during a raid connected to a double homicide investigation the following year. Lasota was never charged in connection with the 2022 stabbing in Vallejo. Court records show Pennsylvania authorities charged Lasota with obstruction and disorderly conduct, but released them on bail in 2023. They're using the correct terms, like I say they, or you can say, yeah, they jumped around, but they're using them and everything. Like I can tell they're throwing it in there at particular times. But released them on bail in 2023. Lasota apparently remains free from custody, but has warrants out there, warrants out for their arrest for failing to appear in court in both states. On August 19th, at approximately 11 p.m., the U.S. Coast Guard Sector San Francisco received a report that Lasota fell off a boat in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. Lasota's hometown newspaper and Fairbanks Daily News Miner published Lasota's obituary. Jack Amadeus Lasota left our lives, but our hearts on August 19th after a boating accident. A post on legacy.com reads, "Loving adventure, friends and family, music, blueberries, biking, computer games, and animals, you are missed." An attorney for Lasota, Gerald Friedman, learned about the boating accident while representing them, and 3 others, in federal civil rights lawsuit against Sonoma County. The 4 plaintiffs alleged that sheriff deputies falsely arrested them during a 2019 protest and mistreated them while in custody. Sonoma County prosecutor charged all 4 with felony conspiracy as well as misdemeanor obstruction. That's where they searched for him in the water. They didn't find him or her, whatever she goes, or the name is. So who's Gwen? No, Gwen Danielson is the other person, right? Isn't that the one from earlier that disappeared? So I guess we can put that on there. I don't know what Gwen's actual name is. He said his client's mother and criminal defense attorney informed him that Lasota had died. Friedman wrote in the same declaration that he heard a rumor that another defendant in the Sonoma County case, Gwen Danielson, may have committed suicide, and that he also had not heard from her in a year. All right. So now I got to put that one over here. I guess we're going to have to make that one smaller, even though he's the leader. Jeez. All right, now we got them all on there now. This guy right here, I don't know what this person is. You know, isn't it? I think this Michelle and Jack here look like twins. Look at that. Like if you were to just put the hair on each one of them and you got the same high forehead, the same... I don't get it. They look like exactly the same person. The nose is the same. That's weird. That's kind of strange. And that's, remember, Michelle's the one that was in that room, and then Jack was in the room, like another room too. That's weird. All right. Currently, you guys, we have 0 new channel members on here tonight. So if anybody out there wants to buy some channel memberships for people out there, that would be awesome. Let's see. I have no reason to say this is... Okay, I'm going to go up here. Friedman said in the interview he does not know whether Danielson is alive, adding that people sometimes do irrational things when facing possible criminal conviction. I have no reason to say this, is what happened, Friedman said, when asked why his former clients might fake their deaths, but when I try to piece things together, that kind of the only thing that makes sense, that something scared them. Months after Lesotho reported death, Vallejo officers made contact with Lesotho at the scene of an attack against their landlord on November 13, 2022. According to police and court records, shortly after the incident, a Sonoma County prosecutor informed Lesotho criminal defense attorney that Lesotho was alive and well, according to court records. During that incident, at least 3 tenants allegedly stabbed 80-year-old Curtis Allen Lind in his 3rd Street property in Vallejo 2 days before they were set to be evicted for failing to pay rent. Oh, Jesus. According to court records, Lind, who was impaled with a sword during the attack, was blinded in one eye and hospitalized for a month. Lesotho appears to have been living with friends inside outfitted box trucks on the property at the time, according to records obtained by Open Vallejo and source familiar with the incident. Or that's just how it ends the sentence. I made it sound like there was more to read. Alexander Latham and Suri Deo were charged in Salona County with the attempted murder. So who's Suri Deo? Okay, there's Alexander Latham. So who's Suri Deo, though? I guess that's another name we don't have. Maybe that's who this person is. No, see, that's Maximilian Snyder with facial hair and no glasses. That's crazy. I don't know who that other person is. Alexander Latham and Suri Deo were charged in Salona County with the attempted murder of Lind and the murder of another tenant, Emma Borhanian, who was shot by Lind during the attack, according to court records. Lind was supposed to testify against them as the sole eyewitness in a trial set for April. Lesotho was not charged in connection with the incident. A person close to Borhanian, who spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear of retribution, said Vallejo police Detectives told the family that Borhanian was unarmed during the attack. The source said she lost contact with Borhanian after Borhanian moved to the Bay Area to work at Google, describing her as intelligent and passionate about coding. She was never a violent person, the source said, noting that the circumstances of her death came as a shock. She was never a violent person. I mean, you look at that face right there. Does anybody believe that story at all? You kidding me? Lind, 82, was stabbed to death outside the same Vallejo property in broad daylight on January 17th, just right outside in that same like junkyard sort of situation. Prosecutors have alleged that 22-year-old Maximilian Snyder killed Lind to prevent him from testifying as a witness in the trial, a capital offense that could be punished by death. Snyder had applied for marriage license in Washington with 21-year-old Teresa Youngblood, who faces federal charges for a deadly shootout on January 20th with Border Patrol agent in Vermont. The couple apparently held views sympathetic to a fringe offshoot of rationalist ideology widely attributed to Lesotho known as Zizianism, which includes core beliefs such as veganism and preventing artificial intelligence from destroying humanity, according to online blog posts and interviews conducted by Open Vallejo. Let's see. Okay, I'll tell you something. If we get 48 more bucks, we'll at least get to halfway of a goal. That would be a huge improvement over the other days. I think that'd be good. So somehow, either through gifting memberships or whatever, if you guys have the ability to, that'd be awesome. The court records do not indicate any connection between Lesotho and the 2025 killing. Lesotho has an outstanding bench warrant in Sonoma County related to their alleged involvement in the 2019 protests against the Center for Applied Rationality, a Berkeley nonprofit whose leaders Lesotho had a falling out with. Lesotho appeared in court records again on January 13, 2023, after state troopers in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, arrested them while executing a warrant in a double homicide investigation. Okay. Lesotho appeared in court. Okay, so he was Rita and Richard. So that's the Lesotho guy who was hanging out with Michelle Zacco. Man, that's just... Yeah, so that person must have... I bet he was also a trans and was sort of part of that online thing, and then Lesotho and some others went over and killed her parents because maybe they weren't supportive or whatever. Had been shot dead in their home early that month, and police believe their daughter, Michelle, was in possession of the murder weapon, according to a transcript of a court hearing. State troopers executed a search warrant at a motel where Michelle was staying the week after her parents' death. Authorities did not find a weapon in Michelle's room, but motel staff told them that another person she knew was staying in a separate room, according to the transcript. When police executed a warrant for the other room, they found two people, including Lesotho, hiding in the bathroom. Who was the other person? After being detained, Lesotho reportedly kept their eyes closed and refused to speak. He was just laying almost unconscious, or if he was dead, on the ground. Trooper Matthew Smith testified in a later court hearing. Smith said at least 4 troopers had to carry Lesotho, who is more than 6 feet tall, from the hotel room. Lesotho was charged with disorderly conduct and according to Delaware County court records, the judge set bail at $500,000 for disorderly conduct, which was later dropped to $10,000, which Lesotho posted in June of 2023 over prosecutors' objections. Yeah, because they knew he was part of something bigger. Lesotho, 34, graduated from the University of Alaska Fairbanks in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. They pursued a master's degree in electrical and computer engineering at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign from 2013 to 2014. It is unclear when exactly Lesotho arrived in the Bay Area, but according to the center, it seems like the Bay Area is just sort of like the birthplace of cults, you know. It is unclear when exactly Lesotho arrived in the Bay Area, but according to the Center for Applied Rationality co-founder Anna Solomon, they attended a 5-day residency workshop organized by the nonprofit in July of 2014. I don't want to go through this whole document. I am saying I do not plead insanity. I am innocent. I take no plea deal. I think we just read that one. Ex-Lakeside student charged in killing now linked to string of deaths. Yeah, they went to high school at one of Seattle's most fabled private schools. They then went their separate ways, both to elite colleges where they studied computer science. Former classmates at North Seattle's Lakeside School aren't sure if Maximilian Snyder, 22, and Teresa Youngbolt, 21, ever interacted when they were students there, but they found each other again online and recently applied to get married. Now they find themselves in custody on opposite sides of the country. Snyder of Kirkland has been charged with murder and the stabbing death of an 82-year-old man in Vallejo, California. Prosecutors say Snyder killed the man to prevent his testimony in an upcoming murder trial. Youngblood of Seattle faces 2 weapons charges in connection with a shootout in rural Vermont that killed a Border Patrol agent. Prosecutors asked that Youngblood be held without bail, saying her case is linked to the Vallejo killing and to a 2022 double homicide. A federal magistrate judge on Tuesday ordered Youngblood be held again until trial. See, that's Youngblood right there. Youngblood was traveling with a German man last week when they were pulled over by a Border Patrol agent in Coventry, Vermont, about 20 miles from the Canadian border. The stop in Coventry was routine immigration inspection, prosecutors wrote, but without notice, Youngblood got out of the car and opened fire. At least one agent fired back. The German man pulled a gun but was shot and killed. Border Patrol agent David Chris Malland was killed in the shootout. Prosecutors say the gun Youngblood was carrying was bought in rural Vermont. Deadly border shootout linked to 6 deaths and cabal of intellects into AI and transgenderism. Yeah, maybe I'll have it just read. Let's see what happens.
An already bizarre shootout that killed a U.S. Border Patrol agent and a suspect on a highway near the Canadian border is unfurling into a sprawling investigation encompassing 4 other killings allegedly linked to an odd cabal of young math and computer whizzes sharing a passion for artificial intelligence, veganism, French philosophy, and gender fluidity. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues. None of the attacks, resulting in 6 deaths in 3 states, have been against grand, ideologically chosen targets, as is often found with terror groups or radical cells, but rather seem to be small-minded, reactionary targets based on personal grievances. Alongside Border Patrol agent David Malland, who was killed in a gunfight January 20, when agents confronted a couple on a Vermont highway. There is a murder of a man in California who is scheduled to testify against associates of the group for a previous attack, during which that victim killed one of his attackers. And a double killing in Pennsylvania of parents of another person allegedly linked to the group. Teresa Youngblood, 21, from Seattle, was injured but survived the highway shootout, and is accused of starting it by suddenly firing at agents during the interaction. At a court appearance Thursday, federal prosecutors argued Youngblood should not be released because of her willingness to use deadly force in an otherwise non-violent scenario, a history of interstate and international travel indicating she has the financial means and capacity to flee, and her associations with other individuals suspected of violent acts, a reference to what looks like a cabal or cult-like group. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues below. Article content. She was denied. Also shot and killed in the highway gunfight was the passenger in the Toyota Prius that Youngblood was driving, identified in court documents as Felix Bockholt, who was a German national working in New York City as a quantitative trader after graduating in Canada with a degree in mathematics from the University of Waterloo. Youngblood studied computer science at the University of Washington. Bockholt, according to friends and state authorities, was transitioning from male to female and went by the name Ophelia. Youngblood had apparently adopted the name Milo and used changing pronouns. I would say that Ophelia was not personally violent, and also I didn't have any indication that Ophelia was interested in guns or liked using guns. I did have some indication that Ophelia had some left anarchist views that might justify political violence in some circumstances, but there was nothing extreme or unusual going on there, said Jessica Taylor, who was a friend. NP posted. Get a dash perspective. I describe Ophelia as kind of like nonconformist and maybe doesn't understand normal people very well, but she is social in the context of having close friends. More of a serious person. Bockholt lived in New Jersey when the two met in 2022 at a rationalist group event in New York and was in her late 20 seconds or early 30 seconds. Taylor and Bockholt bonded easily. We were both transitioning, we're into technology, mathematics. I'm not vegan, but we discussed the ethics of that. Youngblood and Bockholt seem to also share those same interests, along with a circle of highly educated others. Bockholt while working in New York and going by the name Ophelia. Photo by LinkedIn. Youngblood and Bockholt attracted attention in small-town Vermont by walking around in all-black clothes, described as tactical gear, with Youngblood carrying a gun in a holster, according to a criminal complaint filed in court. After a suspicious hotel clerk reported them to police, they rebuffed conversation with responding officers and left the hotel for another one further north, closer to Canada. During periodic police surveillance over the next few days, officers saw Bockholt buy rolls of aluminum foil and wrap unknown items in foil while sitting in the Prius. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your Border Patrol agents stopped their Prius while it was heading south on Interstate 91, about 13 kilometers south of the Quebec border. That's when a gun battle erupted. Surviving Border Patrol agents told authorities that Youngblood had a Glock 23, 40 caliber handgun in her possession after the shooting, and Bockholt had been reaching for a .300. According to a criminal complaint filed in court. After a suspicious hotel clerk reported them to police, they rebuffed conversation with responding officers and left the hotel for another one further north, closer to Canada. During periodic police surveillance over the next few days, officers saw Bockholt buy rolls of aluminum foil and wrap unknown items in. The investigation then exploded well beyond the highway. Tracing the serial numbers showed the guns had been bought by someone from Orleans, VT, near the shooting. A criminal complaint filed in court says at least one of those guns, Pennsylvania State Police said Wednesday, was linked by investigators to an unsolved double homicide outside Philadelphia. The person who bought the guns, State Police said, is a person of interest in the murders of Rita and Richard Zashko. Richard Zashko and Rita Zashko were killed in their Pennsylvania home on New Year's Eve. On January 2nd, 2023, 72-year-old Richard Zashko and 69-year-old Rita Zashko were found dead in their home in Chester Heights, a small borough of about 3,000 people, 30 kilometers west of Philadelphia. Police had been called to their large house, lavishly decorated with Christmas lights, for a welfare check. Concern was justified. Investigators said they had been shot dead inside their home 2 days earlier on New Year's Eve. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues below. As this is an active investigation, no additional information can be disseminated at this time, said Pennsylvania State Trooper Paul Holdifer. Authorities have not publicly identified the person who bought the gun. In the days after the highway shooting of the border agent, however, alerts from a federal agency and police were issued about Michelle J. Zashko, believed to be the child of the two killed in the Pennsylvania home. The alert, according to the Times-Union, a New York newspaper, said Zashko is considered armed and dangerous and adheres to an anti-law enforcement ideology, recommended from editorial. Video shows creepy couple accused in shooting death of U.S. Border Patrol agent. U.S. border agent shot dead in gunfight near Canadian border identified. Dead civilian was German citizen. Police agencies in several states were warned to watch for Zashko, and gun dealers were asked to contact the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives if they had information about firearms sold to Zashko. According to a public records database, a Michelle Zashko was registered to vote in 2016 at the same home address in Pennsylvania as Richard and Rita Zashko, Associated Press reported. In 2021, a Michelle Zashko bought a half-acre piece of property in Derby, VT, near the highway shooting. According to town records, the land is undeveloped. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues below. Article content. Zashko has not been charged in the case and could not be reached for comment. Zashko is allegedly also known, or previously known, as Jamie Bockholt flew into the United States hours before the Pennsylvania slayings, U.S. Attorney Michael Drescher, prosecutor in the Vermont case, said in a court filing,
I don't get it. So Michelle Zashko is also allegedly previously known as Jamie. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it continued when it said Jamie Bockholt. I was like, what? Okay.
Zyko has not been charged in the case and could not be reached for comment. Zyko is allegedly also known, or previously known, as Jamie Bachholt flew into the United States hours before the Pennsylvania slayings, U.S. Attorney Michael Drescher, prosecutor in the Vermont case, said in a court filing, authorities did not say what country he flew from or where in the United States Bachholt landed. All three, Bachholt, Youngblood, and Zyko, allegedly are acquainted with and have been in frequent contact with another person who had previously been detained during the Pennsylvania probe of the killings and who was a person of interest in a murder investigation in California. Maximilian Bentley Snyder, who is listed on a marriage application with Teresa Youngblood, who was arrested after a deadly highway shootout. Although not specified in the court document, that murder probe likely is a reference to this. On Friday, January 24, after the highway shootout in Vermont, but before Youngblood made her first court appearance, Maximilian Bentley Snyder, 22, from Kirkland, Wash, was arrested on a warrant in California for murder. In November, Youngblood had applied for a marriage license in a Seattle suburb, according to municipal records, not to marry Bachholt, but Snyder. It is unknown if they ever married. Requests for comment from Snyder made prior to his arrest have not been returned. This advertisement has... The arrest warrant for Snyder was for a murder that occurred 3 days before the Vermont shootout, on January 17 at around 2:18 p.m. in Vallejo.
Hey, thanks, Jay Case. Hey, we got 10 members. I appreciate it. Thank you. We've fallen on some weird times here, Jay, so appreciate that.
About 50 kilometers north of San Francisco, police responded to a stabbing near an intersection 2 blocks from the waterfront. Officers found an elderly man with at least one stab wound, according to the Vallejo Police Department. The man died soon after in hospital. The victim was 82-year-old Curtis Lind, and he was stabbed outside his property, which was the scene of an earlier vicious attack on him.
Welcome to Dirt in My Eye, Le Sleuth, Marie Antoinette, Papa J, my 3 sons, Christine 079, Karen McCann, Brian Aldrich, Kathy Sue, and Sword Destin.
Lind was attacked in 2022 in a dispute with squatters staying on his land without paying rent. Witnesses told local media at the time they saw Lind with a samurai sword pierced through his back and sticking out through his chest. Lind shot 2 of his attackers, killing one and injuring a second. Curtis Land recovering in hospital after a vicious attack allegedly by squatters on his land linked to the Zizian cabal. Photo by GoFundMe. His accused attackers are closely connected to many involved in the cabal and other incidents and attacks. He miraculously survived being stabbed multiple times, had a sword impaled through his chest, and ultimately lost his right eye, his family said in a statement on a GoFundMe fundraising page. This advertisement has not loaded yet. Lind was scheduled to appear as a witness against 2 people charged in the earlier attack on him. On January 24, at 1 a.m., Snyder was arrested in Redding, Calif., 300 kilometers north of the crime scene. He was taken without incident, police said. A felony complaint filed in Solano County Court accuses Snyder of lying in wait for Lind with a knife. Lind was killed for the purpose of preventing his testimony in a criminal proceeding or to retaliate for his testimony in criminal proceeding, the complaint filed in court says. Jail records describe Snyder as 5'8", 140 pounds, with hazel eyes and brown hair. Photographs taken at Snyder's court appearance show a thin man with long dark hair hanging below his chest. Like Bachholt and Youngblood, Snyder could be described as a geek. His LinkedIn profile said he attended Britain's University of Oxford for computer science and philosophy until 2024, interning with NASA, and describes him as a passionate scholar, data scientist, and creator. His work experience is listed as creating and coordinating Dungeons & Dragons characters and games, consulting on a range of role-playing topics, and as a private tutor for algebra, geometry, and calculus. This advertisement has not looked. Another person criminally charged and linked to the group, who seems likely to be the central figure described in the document filed in Youngblood's case, is Jack Amadeus Lasota, who turned 34 last week. Jack Lasota, presenting as female and using the name Ziz, is the alleged leader of a group of like-minded math and science whizzes. Photo by handout. Lasota is nicknamed Ziz and was such a prominent and influential figure within the gathering group, they are often referred to as Zizians. As a group led by Lasota, they disagreed and feuded with others in the rationalist stream of thought, including an eerie protest at an outdoor retreat when Zizians allegedly protested wearing black robes and
this is just like Charles Manson, you know? Like this guy, all these other people are killing people, and this guy's the ringleader. And he's out there, you know, as my mom would say, gallivanting around, doing whatever the hell he's doing. He's still out there. Eventually, though, they'll catch up with him.
Guy Fawkes masks. Like many others in the cabal, Lasota had changed genders. He was born male and presented as female with female pronouns, said someone who personally knew Lasota but did not want to be named. Lasota was arrested 11 days after the Zykos were found dead in Pennsylvania and charged with obstructing law enforcement and disorderly conduct. That was a surprise for many who knew Lasota. Lasota had been reported dead in 2022 from a boating accident. A paid obituary ran in a local paper. Lasota appears to have faked their death. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues below. Lesoto's arrest was tangentially connected to the Zajko shootings. Court records obtained by AP say police were searching for a gun used in 2 killings when Lesoto was arrested at a hotel room 16 kilometers from the Zajkos' house. Lesoto had been released on bail, and a trial date was set for December 4, 2023, but court records say the defendant was not present in court when the hearing convened. Lesoto's whereabouts are unknown. Delaware County Court says an active bench warrant for Lesoto's arrest was issued on the date of the trial. Lesoto has made no further appearance in court and could not be reached for comment. Lesoto's lawyer at the time, Daniel McGarrigle, declined to discuss his client's status or circumstances. I represent the defendant Lesoto, and if and when the charges are brought to trial, I intend to represent my client, McGarrigle said. Asked about all the wider issues unfurling, he said, I'm not going to comment on any of that. That doesn't have anything to do with my case. Jack Lesoto appeared to fake their death in 2022, and an obituary was published. When Lesoto was released on bail, there was a private online alert to other rationalists saying, some people in the rationalist community are concerned about risks of physical violence from Ziz and some of her associates. This advertisement has not loaded yet, but your article continues below. Article content. Rationalism is an intellectual ideology orbiting artificial intelligence and decision-making that became a subculture among some techies gravitating to the San Francisco Bay Area. Lesoto was a prolific blog writer on rationalist thinking, and his ideas and his followers splintered from the already fringe orthodoxy. Taylor, who has had contact with people involved with rationalist ideology and socially met some Zizians, said there is a phenotype among the group that leans toward gender fluidity. Among people who are heavy into technology and analytics, a disproportionate number are trans. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Among Zizians and their associates, almost everyone is transgender. It's not a prerequisite, just correlated. Taylor is a former research fellow at the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, a rationalist nonprofit organization. In late 2023, Taylor said Bockholt seemed to become more secretive, started traveling more, and showed greater anxiety. Then, Bockholt cut off contact with Taylor and other non-Zizian friends. This advertisement has not loaded yet. I suspect that was a radicalization phase, but I have no way of knowing, Taylor said. I do think their ideology is definitely not pacifist. It's also definitely not legalist. They're willing to do violence. There were times when they believed violence was justified when normal people would not. The FBI has acknowledged the swirling allegations and suspicion. Teresa Youngblood is believed to have associations with other individuals suspected of violent acts in multiple states, to include Pennsylvania and California, the agency said in a statement late Thursday. The FBI is coordinating information sharing on any case-related details with our partners from various law enforcement agencies to effectively follow every lead and aggressively investigate these connections.
All right. Let's see what the Daily Mail had. Yeah, let's get
Washington.
Yeah, let's do a different voice now. Who do we want in here? Let's Snoop Dogg.
What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double-G.
Here we go.
A couple who plan to marry have been booked in separate murder cases in the same week.
He does good.
Both seemingly linked to a violent California vegan trans cult. The duo, who filed for a marriage license in King County, Washington in November, have been accused of murdering a U.S. Border Patrol agent and a state's witness on opposite sides of the country. Maximilian Snyder, 22, and Teresa Youngblood, 21, are now at the center of a sprawling federal investigation as law enforcement officials investigate their alleged murder charges, links to the California-based cult and its ties to another unsolved murder case in Pennsylvania. The pair are allegedly connected to a mysterious cult of transgender geniuses who follow a trans leader. The group, known as the Zizians, are highly educated trans vegan rationalists who hold fringe ideological beliefs about transhumanism and animal rights. Their leader, Jack Lesoto, is a biological male who identifies as a woman. Lesoto also used the name Andrea Phelps and is accused of influencing followers to kill. The New York Post reported Snyder, an anti-pronouns Oxford-educated data scientist and an alleged member of the cult, was arrested in Northern California last Friday. Youngblood, a biological female who identifies as trans and enlists having neo-pronouns as Z/M/Zires on social media, was charged last week in Vermont in connection with the shooting of U.S. Border Patrol agent David Mallon. But Washington authorities now believe the two cross-country murders involving the couple may be connected. In a motion filed on Monday, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Vermont alleges that Youngblood, also a computer science student at the University of Washington, had been in frequent contact with a person of interest in a homicide investigation in Vallejo, California. Snyder, however, was arrested in Redding, California days earlier in connection with the January 17 stabbing death of a longtime Vallejo property owner, 82-year-old Curtis Lynn, according to Solano County jail records. Snyder was charged with murder and 2 enhancements on Monday, according to court records. Without releasing the name of the suspect, Federal prosecutors said the Vallejo murder suspect, who was mentioned in the Monday report, was also previously detained, but not charged, in connection with a double homicide in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, in Coventry, Vermont, Youngblood and a German national, Felix Vallejo, had been under investigative interest in a homicide investigation in Vallejo, California, without releasing the name of the suspect. Federal prosecutors said the Vallejo murder suspect, who was mentioned in the Monday report, was also previously detained, but not charged, in connection with a double homicide in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, in Coventry, Vermont, Youngblood and a German national, Felix Vallejo, had been under investigative surveillance since January 14 after an employee at a nearby hotel reported suspicious behavior from the duo. The hotel employee reported seeing the pair dressed in black tactical clothing and protective equipment, according to the affidavit. Open Vallejo reported. The concerned employee also told officials they saw Youngblood carrying a holstered firearm. The pair were later pulled over by U.S. Border Patrol agents on January 20 for an immigration inspection, according to an FBI affidavit. Investigators said Vallejo, a German citizen, appeared to have an expired visa, although they later learned it was in good standing. Plus 9 View Gallery. Snyder was arrested in Redding, California in connection with the January 17 stabbing death of a longtime Vallejo property owner, 82-year-old Curtis Lynn Picture. 9 View Gallery. 2 Zizians have been accused of attacking Curtis Lynn Picture years earlier in 2019 because they were squatting on his property. Lynn, who lost an eye in the attack, was going to testify against the murder-attempting duo. However, Snyder killed him before he had the chance. However, the routine stop quickly soured as without warning. The FBI alleges Youngblood drew and fired a handgun toward an agent. Youngblood, Vallejo, and the agent, Malin, 44, was shot during the exchange of gunfire. Vallejo was pronounced dead at the scene and Malin died at North Country Hospital. Youngblood, who was transported to a medical center in New Hampshire for treatment, has since been charged with 2 federal crimes. The 21-year-old computer science student was charged with intentional use of a deadly weapon while forcibly assaulting or interfering with federal law enforcement and using discharge of a firearm during and in relation to an assault with a deadly weapon. Now, authorities have Youngblood and Snyder in custody as well as...
Nah, I don't. I could make a voice for Kenda if I recorded enough of what he said. That you can actually do that. It would sound pretty good, I bet, if it was Joe Kenda. Oh, do they have Joe Kenda? Let's see. It'd be cool to do also Grady Judd, wouldn't it? They got Gwyneth Paltrow.
Welcome to Speechify. Speechify can read to you in the highest quality as 2 others believed to be connected to the cult. The others, Suri Dow and Alexander Jeffrey Leatham, were arrested in connection with a near-fatal attack on Lind, years earlier in November. The landlord had allegedly threatened his current tenants, Dow and Leatham, who lived in box trucks on the property, with eviction after they failed to pay rent, citing a pandemic-era moratorium. The pair, along with 31-year-old Emma Borhanian, attacked Lind with knives and a samurai sword. Lind lost his right eye in the attack and obtained several other life-threatening injuries, and Borhanian was killed in an act of self-defense from the property owner, records show. Dow and Leatham are both trans and are believed to be members of the so-called cult. Lind was set to deliver the only eyewitness statement against the 2022 attackers before a court. Now, without his testimony, there will be no witnesses to defend the brutal attempt on the landlord's life. Plus 9 View Gap. Mr. Lind is the only eyewitness to this case, and his testimony is critical for the people to have the ability to prove their case. Prosecutors wrote in court papers filed the day before Lind died, also noting, "These defendants are extremely dangerous. They have both tried to escape from custody." In a review of the property after the gruesome attack, a close friend of Lind's called the tenants' living quarters creepy in the extreme. It was actually very uncomfortable, Lind's friend, Thomas Young, said about walking into the live in box trucks. You kinda wanted to put on a hazmat suit before going into it. It was really just creepy in the extreme, he added. Several community members have previously, and since, come forward about their concerns with the strange and seemingly dangerous cult. Posts in various online forums have attributed the November 2022 attack to the Zizians, Open Vallejo reported. Believed members of the Zizian group, Lesota and Leatham, among others, were arrested following a 2019 protest at a Center of Applied Rationality, a rationalist nonprofit based in Berkeley. The group allegedly blocked the exits of the Westminster Camp and Conference Center with multiple vehicles and wore robes and Guy Fawkes masks. A Westminster employee told the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office that one protester had a gun, but the report was never confirmed. Community warnings posted in online forums about the group cite the protest and the 2022 stabbing as evidence of their potential danger. Jessica Taylor, a friend of Baucult's, who she knew as Ophelia, claims she tried to protect her friend against the strange cult. Taylor says she warned Baukalt about Zizians, calling them a murder gang. She added that she fell out of communication with Baukalt in late 2023. It is not clear what kind of, if any, structure the group has. She said the group believes in timeless decision theory, a rationalist belief suggesting that human decisions and their effects are mathematically quantifiable. +9 view gallery. +9 view gallery. Authorities have young blue. The Zizians also apparently believe that because there are two hemispheres in the brain, individuals can split their consciousness between two personalities by waking one side at a time, Taylor said. She said veganism and animal rights are central to the ideology. A bio for an Instagram account that appears to belong to Youngblood reads, "Talk to me about being vegan and AI alignment." Snyder and Youngblood's social media posts and accounts reportedly displayed beliefs consistent with Zizianism, but their accounts have since been removed. Court records do not explicitly tie them to the ideology.
Yeah. I think there's just one more, or maybe a couple more. Let's see. I think Gwyneth Paltrow reads it pretty good. You know what's weird is I get more out of it when I'm listening to it. If I'm reading it, I don't get as much because I'm, checking the audience and everything. But yeah, I'll try one last time for the night, you guys. If you guys can please help support the channel. Helps us keep us going, what we're doing here. I mean, you guys know all the great stuff we've been doing over the years. And, if there's something I've done that's pissed you off or whatever, I apologize. I don't know what it was, but if you guys can please help support the channel, that'd be great. We got to keep on trucking through the year. I know there aren't any of these huge cases going on, so it's a little slow like that, but, it's still, I still need your guys' support. All right, let's see what this one is.
The recent killing of a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont is reportedly linked to a purported death cult made up of radical, highly educated vegan and transgender members known as the Zizians. The group is said to revolve around Ziz, who is a transgender woman. Ziz, whose legal name is Jack Lasota, garnered a...
Hey, I'll have Stefan Stearns read it.
Following online after posting about her ethical and social theories on her blog. Sincerely, this was how Felix Ophelia Baukult, the German national involved in the shooting last week.
See, I actually did a Stefan Stearns custom voice one time. Send super chats, Katie Lucas said. Yeah, you too. Come on, let's get going here. Let's see. There's got to be a British voice in here. It adds so much more credibility, even if they're saying nothing. It's I don't know. How about this Emily?
Oh, well, hello there. My name is Emily. I speak in... Oh, well, hello there.
Oh,
My name is...
Welcome to Speechify.
Personally, I hate reading. So
This is Ben Wilson from How to Take Over the World.
How about that one? That's probably better. Okay, let's do that.
The recent killing of a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Vermont is reportedly linked
Hey, thanks so much, Vicky White. No, Stefan Stearns. Here's that super chat. Okay.
to a
I'll get rid
purported
of it.
death cult made up of radical, highly educated vegan and transgender members known as the Zizians. The group is said to revolve around Ziz, who is a transgender woman. Ziz, whose legal name is Jack Lasota, garnered a following online after posting about her ethical and social theories on her blog Sinceriously. This was how Felix Ophelia Baukult, the German national involved in the shooting last week, discovered Lasota, Baukult's friend Jessica Taylor told Newsweek. She was interested in things like effective altruism and criticisms of it,
If you're remembering Jessica Taylor, well, that's one of Rex Huerman's victims' names. Jessica Taylor.
ethical veganism, mathematics, decision theory, a lot of the same topics as Ziz, and she had similar views on a number of things. Taylor said of Baukult, left a screenshot of Maximilian Snyder's LinkedIn profile, right, a screenshot of Teresa Youngbloat's Instagram page. Snyder and Taylor posted on X, formerly Twitter, after hearing of the shooting, saying that she knew Baukult and calling out the Zizians. Baukult, who was also a transgender woman, was fatally shot on January 20 after she and another individual, identified as Teresa Youngbloat, engaged in a shootout with Border Patrol agents. Agent David Milland was killed in the gunfight after he and other agents pulled the pair over in a traffic stop. After Baukult was identified by authorities and Taylor realized it was her friend who had been killed, she thought Lasota might have been involved. Given her friend's fondness for the blogger and the pattern of violence that she said matched up to what she knew of the group, she posted on X, formerly Twitter, after hearing of the shooting, saying that she knew Baukult.
What is Mountain Man. I mean, I'm just reading each article. There's going to be overlap, obviously, right? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, man. Didn't it used to be Mountain Man 71 or something like that? Or yeah, it's just each article is going to have some overlap, but each one of them seems to have a little piece of something that's different, but it also grains it into your head.
After Balcolt was identified by authorities and Taylor realized it was her friend who had been killed, she thought Lasota might have been involved. Given her friend's fondness for the blogger and the pattern of violence that she said matched up to what she knew of the group, she posted on X, formerly Twitter, after hearing of the shooting, saying that she knew Balcolt. I remember warning Ophelia that Zizians were a death cult with...
You're taking a break? Ozzy Trisha, where are you going? You're just going to bed or something, or...
high local death rate, Taylor wrote. Taylor, who said she had not spoken to Balcolt since 2023, told Newsweek the group tended to choose victims of petty authority, like landlord or parent, or, in this case, a Border Patrol agent, and that she and Balcolt had even previously discussed the high death rate around the Zizians. Because I'd been familiar with the Ziz story for a while, I saw some possible connections before others did, and was trying to prove it by looking at people's social media profiles and so on, Taylor said. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol referred Newsweek to the U.S. Attorney's Office of Vermont for comment. The U.S. Attorney's Office of Vermont on Tuesday, Maximilian Snyder, a 22-year-old data scientist, was charged in the killing of Lind. Snyder and Youngblood applied for a marriage license in Washington in November, according to police and court records obtained by Open Vallejo. Lind and Milan's deaths come 2 years after Zychko's parents, Richard and Rita Zychko, were found dead in their Delaware County, Pennsylvania home in January 2023. It appears to be a small group, highly educated, computer-savvy, at times geographically scattered, and a number of them, if not all of them, appear to identify as trans or non-binary, with their dead names potentially being publicized widely as law enforcement releases information about the cases, as these are still their legal names, S-Fist. A local San Francisco outlet reported last week, if we can call them a cult at all, they aren't the type who all live together on a compound for extended periods. Though if they had a compound, it was a pair of box trucks parked for 3 years on Curtis Lynn's property on Lemon Street in Vallejo, a cul-de-sac in an industrial part of town. Taylor told Newsweek she believes the FBI is looking into the Zizian group.
Say, check it out. Isn't that wild? Like, in this picture right here, they lived right there in these, units here. And you can actually see them if you go right here, street view, believe it or not. Well, I went up this driveway, and there they are, the box trucks. And they're living in those at the time of this video, of this street view right here. Because this is... August 2022, and that guy was killed in November. And I think he was killed right around the corner there. Crazy, huh?
If we can call them a cult at all, they aren't the type who all live together on a compound for extended periods. Though if they had a compound, it was a pair of box trucks parked for 3 years on Curtis Lynn's property on Lemon Street in Vallejo, a cul-de-sac in an industrial part of town. Taylor told Newsweek she believes the FBI is looking into the Zizian group. In a statement shared with Newsweek, the FBI said, as stated in open court and in court filings, Teresa Youngblood is believed to have associations with other individuals suspected of violent acts in multiple states, to include Pennsylvania and California. The FBI is coordinating information sharing on...
Hope you feel better, Ozzy Trisha. All the freaks will be here when you get back and you feel normal again.
Any case-related details with our partners from various law enforcement agencies to effectively follow every lead and aggressively investigate these connections, the FBI said. As part of the continuous dialogue with those partners, especially following an assault on a law enforcement officer, the FBI routinely shares appropriate law enforcement information about potential persons of interest to enhance officer safety and situational awareness. As this is an ongoing investigation, the FBI cannot comment further on any additional details not included in the court filings, the agency said. FBI Albany is running the investigation into the shooting in Vermont. At the time of the Vermont shooting, Taylor said she was not aware that her friend was in touch with Lasota. She said while the patterns matched up with what she knew of the group, I don't think they set out to shoot a Border Patrol officer. I had no idea where she was, Taylor said of Balcolt. I think they were planning something. Some hotel people were suspicious, so police investigated, then things went wrong. Ayala, who says she is a sex worker and researcher and claims to know several people involved or adjacent to the Zizians, said on X that the group's activities date back to 2019. That is when she says that Lasota and another member, Gwen Danielson, were banned from an alumni reunion for the Center for Applied Rationality, CFAR, a Berkeley-based nonprofit focused on behavioral psychology and AI. In response to the ban, the pair and 2 others allegedly protested the event by blocking the entrance and exit while dressed in black robes and Guy Fawkes masks. All 4 of the individuals were believed to be transgender women, Amid the protests, police received a report suggesting that one of the protesters was carrying a gun, which prompted heavy police response, including a SWAT team and helicopter. The group was ultimately not armed, but the individuals were arrested on suspicion of felony child endangerment, false imprisonment, and conspiracy, as well as misdemeanor counts of resisting arrest, wearing a mask while committing a crime, and trespassing, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. 2 of the individuals involved in this blockade had been asked not to attend our event as a result of prior erratic behavior towards our staff and others, Farr said in a statement.
Oh, wow. I didn't see. It doesn't make any noise or anything. But thanks, Ozzy, Trisha. Look at that. 5 memberships. Hell, maybe I'll give some, even though we didn't make our, the normal goal thing. I feel like you guys are, it's so cool. Where do I do this? Let me pop it out. Pop it out. Let's see, how do I do this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not the right button. Jeez. All right, here we go. Yeah, you guys are trying. I know. So there you go. I just give 5 away. Got Carrie Bishop, Marilee, Mr. T51, ASB 412, probably a troll, and then Unicorn Lover. All right. Awesome. So, if we get 38 more, you guys, we'll make the sort of low end of a goal. Is that possible with the freaks that are sitting here with 216? Can we do it? 38 more. It'll be like a miracle. That's what it would feel like. 4 days into the month, and we're sniffing a goal. That'd be pretty amazing. All right, back to this.
Statement at the time. Unfortunately, they instead took actions which disrupted things both for our guests and
8 more memberships would do it.
Everyone else present at the camp. Taylor said while it seems Lesotho is recruiting transgender members who might be financially vulnerable and ripe for radicalization, she believes most of the members are acting on their own accord and are just being persuaded to join the group. Starting in 2021, Lesotho reportedly advocated the killing of various people and the punishment of non-good people like non-vegans, according to Ayala. Both Lesotho and Danielson allegedly faked their own deaths in 2022. An obituary for Lesotho was published on September 7th, 2022, claiming that they died in a boating accident. But on January 13th, 2023, Lesotho was arrested in Pennsylvania for obstructing administration of law and disorderly conduct. Lesotho made bail in June and stopped showing up to court. We still don't know the whereabouts of the people in this story who, starting in 2021, Lesotho...
Well, you claim that Danielson faked theirs, but you don't know that. But that does sound reasonable, that Danielson's out there somewhere. And it's sort of interesting because there's Danielson and there's Lesotho. Look at all these. Maximilian Snyder, Emma Borhanian. She's not alive. Teresa Youngblood. She's alive and was engaged to Maximilian Snyder here. Teresa Youngblood and Felix Ophelia Buckholt right here. They were up near Canada and got in a shootout with Border Patrol and killed David Mayland. Teresa Youngblood survived, but the Border Patrol ended up killing Buckholt here. So now we have Bohanian is dead and Buckholt is dead, but Bohanian's dead because Maximilian Snyder and Emma Borhanian attacked Curtis Lind because he was trying to collect on his rent for his box trucks. And well, first they stabbed him with the samurai sword and stabbed him in the eye, but he survived. And then he was going to testify against them in a trial, and they believed Maximilian Snyder killed Curtis Lind so that he could not testify. But in the initial attack, when he got stabbed in the eye, he shot and killed Emma Borhanian. So the only out of these 4 here, the only 2 that are surviving are Maximilian and Teresa, and they were engaged. And then you got this Michelle Zashko, who's the child of Richard and Rita Zashko. They were both killed, and apparently Ziz, the leader of this whole gang, named Jack Lasota, had something to do with that, perhaps. But the gun that Michelle Zashko had, they believe is the one that killed her parents. But she's hanging out with the cult leader that they believe is responsible for it. And this Alexander guy, I can't remember what he did, and then Gwen Danielson. So it's like 8 cult members right there. And there's 6 people dead, 4 civilians. You know, not civilians, but people not related to the cult. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess that's that one. And somebody just sent me another one. Take a look at that. And I guess we have a couple we can do here. Possible cult leader Ziz, who faked her own death and was questioned in Pennsylvania. I don't know. It's probably going to be all the same. God, those two look so similar, you know. Anyway, that's probably do it. All right, well, there we go. We're getting started. I'll try to make something that's more. I mean, you can kind of tell the story by looking at the chart, you know. So, anyways, I think that's going to do it. So thank you all for being here. You know, at least, you know, sort of doing a little bit better than some of these other days. Katie Lucas, True Crime Nut, Uniquely Susie, True Crime Nut, Cindy J, Tracy Harrison. Thanks, True Crime Nut, for, you know, starting it off, you know, get going there. Tracy Harrison, then True Crime Nut again, then Dirt in My Eye, then Zozo, then Georgina Stoliker, Plato, Moofies, Zozo, Dirt in My Eye, True Crime Nut again, then Ozzy Trisha, then Uniquely Susie, Retired Hospice RN, Chicken Wings, Cindy J. You know, I guess what the reason it's hard to get to the goals, because I remember before, you know, I guess it's like people are giving what they can, but it's the, you know, I think what it would be before was like you'd see a lot of 10s and 20s, and when you get like 5 or 6 of those, you're already like half of the goal, right? But when it's 1s and 2s, that means every single person in the chat, and that makes it harder, you know. So, I mean, it looks like a lot of people were supporting the channel, so I appreciate that. Grace stream the surveillance. No, I'm going to put out a video with that. You can just go back and watch it, you know. Ozzy Trisha, Uniquely Susie, Chicken Wing, Cindy J, You Know They Exist. Then J Case gifted 10 memberships, which is equivalent to a cat eye donation. Then Vicky White, then Vicky White again, and then Lisa Valenzuela, then Ozzy Trisha gifted 5, and then I gifted 5, so that'd be another equivalent to 50. But Vicky White gifted a membership too, so there you go. Yep, you guys tried. You gave it the good college try. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy case, though, isn't it? I think it's a little. It's like once you put it in a chart, it's not as crazy. You know. I mean, it's crazy no matter how you look at it, really. But you know, it's hard to, you know, sometimes it's hard to like picture and put it all back together again. What I should do is with these names here, put the year of each, you know, both of the attacks or something, and then put that the year of this, the date of that attack, the date of this one, and then at least you'd know when these people died up here, Then there's a surveillance video with Maximilian Snyder and Teresa Youngblood when she has dark hair. And then Felix was killed in the shootout with Youngblood also. So that shooting there must have been... I mean, when did these two people get their wedding... apply for their wedding? Maximilian and Teresa must have been before that. But it's weird, too, because then you see Maximilian and Teresa at that hotel, and it seems like that's just before Teresa and Buckholt were killed. I mean, it's in the same area anyways. So I don't know how that plays out. But also, I want to thank the people on the coffees. We had one... I mean, Trisha sent me a coffee earlier. Then Lisa Valenzuela, Mountain Man, and then also Trisha became a monthly supporter. Then Teresa K with a coffee, a couple coffees there, and then Sandy Shirley. So thank you. Thank you guys, appreciate it. How old are the days? These days? How old are these days? Come on, dirt in my eye. That was pretty good. Hey, how old are these days? Oh, man. How old are them? I think the oldest one is the Jack Lesotho, Ziz, the cult leader. I think he's like 34, maybe. I'll put that on there, too. How about that? So I'll update the chart here. We'll get the date, the ages correct, put the dates of the shootings and etc. That way it's just kind of easy right in front of your face. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And I appreciate you guys being here and supporting the channel. Hopefully some one of these days we can get back to normal. Yeah, or maybe there's a new normal. I don't know. But hopefully, when bigger cases show up, we'll do better again. Because it seems like during that plane, the plane coverage, we were doing okay. And then the start of the new year, just kind of, since those were already covered, it went down. So anyways, thank you guys, each and every one of you for helping. And I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? So I guess that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person. Don't cave into using
crime
pronouns. Don't cave into that.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, ya, just remember I've a temper fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. What are you guys referring to up there? Yeah, already. I'm gonna put out a video. I don't know, maybe tomorrow morning that I already said that's what I was going to do. I messaged you that I'll put out a video where it's their surveillance footage, and then at the second half I'll explain where all the different shots are, but I'll just play it and I'll just talk while it's playing. I won't interrupt it, and then I'll play it again more slowly and explain to where all the different shots are that we could find, and then where there's some shots that people can go out and still try to find. And then maybe after that, at the end of that, maybe that'll be it. And then maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll put out one that's just the surveillance footage in the background and a small unit where the press conference is being done. So a couple videos. All right. So thanks, everybody. See you guys later. And until then, be safe out there.